Get up, now. Your life depends on it. Maya froze, the words flashing across her phone screen like a warning siren. Her husband sat unaware, the warm dinner suddenly meaningless. Outside, shadows shifted, cars slowed, whispers followed. She wasn't imagining it. Someone was watching, and it wasn't random. Every past slight, every subtle dismissal she had endured now made sense. It was all connected, all pointing to this moment of danger. During dinner with her husband, she received a text that would shatter her ordinary life forever. Comment your. City below and witness Maya's story of courage against injustice unfold. It was an ordinary evening, one of those quiet nights when the world feels safe and predictable. Maya sat across from her husband at their dining table, the soft glow of the chandelier casting gentle shadows over the polished surface. The aroma of roasted chicken and freshly baked bread filled the room, and for a brief moment she felt a simple sense of contentment. Life had been steady lately. Work was demanding but manageable, and her evenings with her husband were a rare chance to breathe. Yet beneath the calm, a subtle unease lingered. She had grown used to it, dismissing it as stress from the office, or fatigue from long days. Her phone vibrated softly on the table, a trivial distraction, but she didn't reach for it immediately. Something about the quiet tonight felt different, though she couldn't place it. The sound of the city outside, usually comforting in its familiarity, seemed muted, almost hesitant, as if holding its breath. Maya's mind wandered briefly to the minor incidents she'd noticed over the past few weeks. Glances that lingered too long in her office, murmurs when she passed by, subtle reminders that not everyone saw her as equal. She had learned to ignore them and focus on her work, family, and life. But tonight, in this familiar space of warmth and routine, the feeling of being watched prickled at her skin. Her husband poured wine, smiling, unaware of the tension threading through her thoughts. She returned a polite smile, but the sense of anticipation, like a shadow moving just beyond her vision, tightened in her chest. The phone buzzed again, this time insistent. Maya picked it up, her fingers trembling slightly, and froze. The message on the screen made her heart stop. Get up and go. Your life depends on it. In that moment, the ordinary evening shattered. Every quiet corner, every familiar routine, suddenly felt dangerous. Something was coming, something she hadn't seen until it was already upon her, and there was no turning back. Maya's pulse raced as she stared at the message, her mind spinning. She glanced around the dining room, half expecting someone hiding in the shadows. Her husband noticed her sudden stillness. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern creeping into his voice. She shook her head, hiding the screen, pretending it was nothing. But she couldn't shake the sense that she had just been summoned into danger, and there was no telling who was behind it. The night stretched on with a growing heaviness. Her phone buzzed again, another cryptic text, a name, a location, a vague warning. She realized quickly that ignoring it was not an option. Something, or someone, was watching, and Maya's intuition screamed at her. This was not random. Her mind flashed to the subtle slights at work, the whispered comments about her being different, and the moments where her authority and presence were dismissed because of her skin color. Tonight, all of it came together in a chilling pattern. Driving. Through quiet streets, every passing car felt like a threat. She noticed a black SUV tailing her at a distance, its tinted windows hiding whoever was inside. Panic gripped her chest. She tried calling her husband, but the line went straight to voicemail. Each turn of the wheel, each red light, made her feel smaller, more vulnerable, trapped in a system that seemed stacked against her. Arriving at the location, an abandoned warehouse on the city's outskirts, Maya's heart pounded. Shadows clung to the corners of the building like predators waiting for a mistake. She stepped inside cautiously. A single beam of light illuminated the center of the empty room. Then she saw a man in a crisp suit, holding an envelope and looking at her with unreadable eyes. Her instincts screamed, but so did her curiosity. What had she stumbled into? The envelope contained documents threatening her reputation, her career, and the life she had built, explicitly tied to racial prejudice from influential figures who had been undermining her from the beginning. Fear surged through her body, but so did anger. She realized that the injustice she had endured for years had been orchestrated to break her spirit. She refused to be intimidated, but each step forward carried the weight of the unseen forces aligned against her. At that moment, Maya understood the magnitude of what she faced. It was bigger than her. The system, the people, the subtle racism, everything converged tonight. And as footsteps echoed behind her in the dark warehouse, she felt the first brush of true terror, knowing her choices in the next few minutes could change her life forever. The footsteps grew louder, deliberate, echoing against the cold concrete. Walls. Maya's heart raced. Her instincts screamed to run, but there was nowhere to go. The suited man approached, his face shadowed and emotionless. "You shouldn't have come," he said calmly, as if the threat of his words alone could crush her. Suddenly, another figure appeared from the shadows, a security officer from her office, one she had trusted, now staring at her with thinly veiled contempt. "Hands where I can see them!" he barked. Maya froze, realizing she was surrounded, trapped in a web of racism, betrayal, and power she hadn't anticipated. The envelope, the warnings, the stalking, a setup. She could feel her blood pounding. In her ears, her chest tight with fear and anger. Every moment stretched, heavy with possibility. Any move could escalate into violence, humiliation, or public ruin. Maya's mind raced, replaying years of discrimination, subtle and overt, that had led to this exact moment. The injustice was suffocating. Then, with a deep, steadying breath, she summoned the courage she had cultivated through a lifetime of fighting to be seen, heard, and respected. The fear remained, but it no longer paralyzed her. She faced the men, unwavering. Her presence alone, her dignity intact, became a silent defiance. She understood. This confrontation was not just for her survival, but for every unseen injustice, endured by countless others. Dear audience, where are you watching from? Drop your city name in the comments. Maya emerged from the warehouse alive, shaken but unbroken. The documents were later exposed publicly, revealing a carefully orchestrated attempt to sabotage her career due to her race. Colleagues, friends, and strangers rallied around her, offering support, validation, and resources. What had started as an isolated threat became a catalyst for systemic accountability. The experience left a permanent mark on Maya's life. She was no longer just an observer of injustice. She became a vocal advocate, sharing her story to shine a light on the subtle and overt racism embedded in institutions. Her fear transformed into action, her anger into purpose. She realized that change is rarely immediate, but visibility and courage can disrupt long-standing patterns of oppression. Maya's story is a reminder that racial injustice can reach anyone, anywhere, even in the quiet comfort of one's home. It challenges viewers to consider the unseen struggles of others and to confront prejudice whenever it appears. The question lingers: how many people endure similar threats in silence, and what can we do to support them? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories and new videos.